Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by 1 billion by billion, and holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing. If you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well today. We have two things. Well, we have multiple things to do. We are indeed doing the next installment of St. Jacob case. The St. Jacob case. If you're just new here, I've linked the first 3 parts in the description below. I am wearing my apron. I have my button on here that says "Suck it up, Buttercup." That's to me. That's me telling myself that. Also, yes, my hair is here. It is very gray, and I have decided to not dye it until it grows out enough that I can dye it the color I want instead of having to color correct it. So that's just the way it is now, dealing with it. Anyways, the case. Okay, so before we get started, I do want to mention that remember the case from 2 weeks ago, the TPO violation in front of Judge Kirkham, that was in front of Judge Bronlick. They were worried about the dog George. Remember that one where the judge ordered him to come in to the court to have an in-person hearing? Well, I managed to get the follow-up in-person hearing to that case today, and very glad I did, because it was taken down immediately. And so we may watch that afterwards. What the plan is for today, we are going to finish Jacob's testimony. Then, honestly, there's like 5 or 6 hours more after Jacob's testimony somehow. We're not doing all of that today, obviously. So we're going to finish Jacob's cross-exam and recross, etc. And then tomorrow we'll go on from there. So that's an hour and a half of his testimony today. And then we will go on from there. I'll tell you the real reason for that is that I was once again unable to download this video, and so I had to record it, and it's huge. It's a huge file when I record it like that. So it's just, this is what we got. Anyway, so we're gonna watch this first, then we'll finish up. We'll watch the other hearing. It's still gonna be a very long show. Fucking long show. Also, yes, thank you for the reminder. Tell me what you have for dinner tonight. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, tell me what you wish you had for dinner. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone. FOMO, fear of missing out. Hello, loud. Well, yeah, I do have like a bit of a beehive going on up here. Oh, BLT on the menu. That sounds so good. Oh, I'm hungry. Hi, Mayor. How are you doing? Oh, lasagna. Delicious. Chicken cordon bleu. Frozen dinner. I don't know if that's how they spell blue. But anyways, without further ado. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I started recording this, and then I had to fiddle with something on the computer, so it's in 2 parts, but there was something funny in the first part. I was going to delete it, I was literally like, we don't even need that part. But you'll hear what this was. You forgot about you were
Okay.
in
Well,
Judge. Seriously, Judge, you cannot start with me right now. Okay? People already get pissed off at me for pausing it too much, talking all the time. But Tons of Fun Carving is talking about glass engraving fairies. That sounds serious and cool. Okay, so we're going to, this is the 2-minute clip. We'll watch, then I'll pause and we'll watch the hour and 30-minute clip. Actually, Mayor, you got us going. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Also, thank you again to Cellulite Yoga Pants, who made me this apron, which has a vape holder in it, which is pretty much the main reason I'm wearing it, to hold my vape. Thank you again, Mayor. Make sure that you guys have gifting turned on. Yeah, please don't hurt the fairies, though. Please don't hurt the fairies. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And yes, don't catch anything on fire. Don't catch anyone. No fairies better be harmed. Although, if we're talking about it, the caption, or sorry, the thumbnail for this video was sort of fairy tale like, wasn't it? I couldn't resist. It had nothing to do with the case, and I don't know why I saw it. In fact, the first one I saw was an undersea one, and I made that, and I was like, this has nothing to do with the ocean. But I couldn't resist. So it made me happy. And that's the best part. Anyways, okay, like I said, let's go. Shut it, Paisley. Just as a recap, parts 1, 2, and 3 are linked in the description below. Please like the video, click that like button, clock in for your shift, and remember that when we last left, Jacob over there with the weird look on his face was being cross-examined by Leslie right over here, who is Mom's lawyer, Megan. And based upon what happened, it seems like Megan and Leslie were working over the weekend. I'll say that. Because I did have to listen to this in and out today while I was recording it. Oh my God, Mayor. Are the packages okay? I mean, the person? I'm a terrible person.
Paisley, you can continue with your cross.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, last time we were here, you indicated to this court that you had seen Margaret Hunter as a therapist. Is that accurate?
It's accurate that I said that, but so what had happened was I went and saw Anta, and Anta had asked me what psychologist I was seeing, and I said I couldn't recall her name. And so she started pulling up pictures of different ones in the area, and she had showed me a picture of Margaret, and I thought I had recognized her to be the one that I had seen. Upon further going back and looking, that was not accurate. I seen Debbie Stoddard, I believe.
Okay, so right away, I find that so weird. Somebody was trying to determine what healthcare provider he saw, so they pulled up pictures for him to see if he recognized them, and he said the wrong one. And I don't know if that the lady, Mrs. Hunter, saw anybody in this family, but I do know that she testifies later. That'll be tomorrow. So I don't know if they called her to, like, you know, rope him in and be like, you said you went here, but you didn't. But he's just backtracking on it now. Hi, Ed. Hi, Ed. Hi, Ed. Mayor, they might blame you. Also, there's a stipulation that's about to be coming up here to 900 pages of text messages. Yeah. Megan does have a bit of a crazy look on her face.
Okay, and you saw her 2 to 3 times, you indicated?
That's correct.
Thank you. Last time we were here, you also indicated that you leave for work at 6 o'clock in the morning. Is that correct?
Between 6 and 6:15, around
Okay.
that time, yes.
If you provided dash cam videos as part of a discovery, is there a reason why on those dash cam videos you were leaving between 5:30 and 6 o'clock?
Our time changes as well at work, so I don't know what my schedule was at that time. Also, I was a track inspector at that time. I could have needed to leave earlier to get to an incident I had been called about. There's a number of different reasons where the time could have changed in the morning for different incidents. Oh, and I also had to, my truck was being parked at my mechanic where I take it, my work truck was, because it didn't fit in my parents' condos where I was staying for a short time. So I also had to drive to my work truck instead of having it at my house already before I could then leave for work.
Okay. Now, last time we heard you indicated that you were in agreement that Megan was the one that was responsible for the doctor's appointments and scheduling those appointments for the boys. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah, I did say that was the most
Okay.
logical. Yes.
Okay. And when did you add yourself to the children's My Chart?
I've always had access to the My Chart for Samuel. Bronson My Chart, I can't recall when I added myself.
Okay. Now, since we've been here, there was an issue in regards to medication for one of your children. Is that correct? One of them was sick over the weekend?
Say that again.
Over this past weekend, were one of your children sick? With allergies?
Okay, yes, they were diagnosed. Asher was diagnosed with seasonal allergies. Yes,
Okay. And was medication prescribed?
that is correct.
And Megan took him to the doctor. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And it was your weekend to have the children?
That is correct.
Who picked up the prescription for Asher after you had the children?
I did.
You picked it up from Walgreens?
That's correct.
Okay. Is Asher potty trained?
He is.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, I hit the wrong one. Okay, we're going back. I really fucked that up. Just listen to the doesn't matter now. I was like, wow, she's really getting into this. I forgot. Like, what was the part where she brought it up this here?
Attorney McNiff and I were going what's called my Exhibit H that we can stipulate to entry. The reason you should have a stack of printed off text messages, but they're hard to read. And Attorney McNiff and I were going back and forth trying to figure out exactly the best way to get it to you to be able to read it, rather than print it off. So we wanted to make sure that I just put that on the record that we're now stipulating to my Exhibit H.
Okay.
That's accurate, Your Honor. The printed ones were almost illegible, but the ones on the flash drive, if you pull them up, you can see them very well. Or at least I can, because then I can expand them so my old eyes can.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen them yet, but we do have them. So at some point I'll have a chance to look at them.
Now, are we planning to share that screen for that exhibit later?
No, I think that when the judge has the opportunity to review it, he can review it. And I can just reference dates when needed, rather than.
They're page numbers as well. So I think the page numbers may even be easier to follow than the dates.
Is the only way to make that work, Judge, is for you to have this plugged into your computer there.
Okay.
I did clear this with IT, so it's clean.
That's the part I thought was hilarious and I didn't want to cut out. So they stipulated to this 900 document flash drive that she brought in, and he went and had it checked with IT to make sure it was clear. I found that hilarious. What do they do? Just plug it into a different computer and see if that one got a virus? Like, I don't know what's going on here, but anyways, as if she would try and fucking give them a virus. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Wendy, glad you're back. that little clip is now done. Remove.
Has not had any wet
So we're back to the questioning. She's going hard. Yeah, he had to pause the fighter solitaire to deal with that, right? So anyways, she's asking about potty training. Reminder, the kids are 4 and 2, and they were never married. This is just a custody thing. Now we're settled in.
accidents. He uses the toilet to go pee. He still does have accidents for his stools, and likely because he has been on Miralax for a while, that probably doesn't help.
Okay. And was there a point in time when he was using the restroom for bowel movements?
No.
And can you tell me, is he wearing a pull-up during your parenting time?
Yes. I mean, there's at nighttime, sometimes I had some few extra diapers. So at nighttime, when I put him in pajamas, I might put a diaper on him, but throughout the day and when he goes back, he's in a pull-up. Yes.
Okay. Now, last time we were here, you indicated you did all the cleaning and stuff at Megan's house. Is that correct?
That is not correct. I didn't say all the cleaning, but there's times where I did all the cleaning. There's times where I did some of it. I mean, there was no consistency, rhyme or reason, but I definitely took part of every part of cleaning throughout the house, inside and out, at
Okay.
points.
Did Megan have a cleaning lady that came in?
At some point in our relationship, more towards the end, she did end up hiring somebody to come in and clean parts of the house.
Okay. You indicated you were the primary caregiver of both Asher and Samuel. Is that correct?
The primary caregiver?
Yeah. Remember testifying to that?
Was that the way the original question was referenced?
You answered that you were the primary caregiver of the children.
I was the primary caregiver. I was the primary caregiver at times. I'm not saying that Meg did nothing for the kids, but I have done everything that, bathing, feeding, getting them dressed.
So you were a part, what you mean is you're capable of doing that stuff, correct?
I'm saying that at times I did 100% of the primary caregiving of children would do, and there was times where we'd split it. There was times where she might have done it one day. I mean, there's no consistency, rhyme or reason. We were parents that those tasks and were accomplished by both of us.
Okay. So
sometime.
you guys were together about 5 years, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And during those 5 years, Meg was pregnant twice, correct? Yeah. And after both children, she exclusively breastfed them for a year, correct? At least a year?
For Samuel, yes, she exclusively breastfed Samuel. Asher actually took a bottle, whether it was breast milk and some formula, he actually took a bottle. Samuel has never taken a bottle or a pacifier.
Okay. And also during that time, she was working full-time, is that correct?
That is not correct. Not that entire time. She took quite a bit of paternity leave or, what have you. And then
With the exception,
Oh, just to piss off all the people in the comments who say that I don't understand how jobs work. No, I understand how jobs work. I don't think it's very good for a company to have somebody working 36 hours straight. I know it's probably legal. But in Canada, she would get 2 years maternity leave. So unless you're telling me that she got 2 years, you can shut your fucking mouth about her getting a lot of maternity leave, Jacob. Okay. She would have got 2 years paid maternity leave with her job saved for her and no repercussions. And in fact, you could take that time too, Jacob. It's 1 year per kid. 1 year per kid. If you work in a government position, you can take longer, and that's pay. You get paid the whole time under EI benefits or parental leave benefits. So there's a maternity leave, which is just for mothers that have had a baby, and then there's a separate paternity or parental leave that either parent can take, and so either parent could do that. So for example, and if you're a government worker, you can elect to take like an extra year, I think, like that, and then they pay you a lesser amount, but you can come back. So we're talking 52 weeks per child. So Jacob, please don't tell me that's fucking 6 weeks. If that girl took 6 weeks per baby, that's a lot, because you're not winning this for me. I was not even functional at 6 weeks. I'm sorry. 6 weeks postpartum, not even functional. Not even close. No. And not only that, it's not good for babies. I'm sorry, but it's not. Fight me on it.
With the exception of her maternity leave, she worked full time. Is that correct?
I believe that she didn't go back full time. I believe she went back like part time to like check emails and do this and that. But eventually, yes, she went back to full time working from home. Yes.
And do you know what her work hours are?
They have also changed. I believe now they're 10-hour days. But I know her hours have changed a couple, 2 or 3 times at least as well.
Okay. And you said, what does Meg do? Where is she employed?
At the VA.
What does she do there?
When I met her, she was doing records reviews where she was giving recommendations of whether a patient needed to go off care or off campus for treatment, or whether the VA offered those services and could be treated at the VA.
Do you know what she has a degree in
Nursing.
education? Sorry, did I say that again?
Nursing.
Do you know where she received that nursing degree from?
Grand Valley.
Okay. Now, in regards to the children, while you and Meg were together, did the children attend music lessons?
Asher or Sam did not attend music lessons. They attended like the library where they did like little musical things, but they weren't music lessons.
What day of the week was that?
I mean, it was honestly, our grandparents took them. So her mom has taken them there when they were with her mom, and my mom has taken them to the library for that same thing. But
What day of the week were the music lessons at the library?
I believe they were Wednesdays, but I can't say for certain.
Okay. Did you ever attend?
They were during a regular scheduled work day, so no, I did not attend those.
Okay. Was there a regular date that the children attended the library for like reading time?
Again, that's during the time that they were with their grandparents in childcare during a regular scheduled work day, so I was not there, no.
Okay. Are you aware if Meg ever took the children to music lessons?
If she took the time off of work to attend those, that's definitely a possibility.
Okay. And same with the library reading time?
Yes, if she took the time off of work to attend those, yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
When Meg was working and you were working and the children were with Meg, do you know what a typical day would look like for Meg with the children?
Say that one more time.
When you were together
Mhm.
and Meg was working from home, what was a typical day like with Meg for the children? For the children with Meg?
Okay,
Do you
so
know?
yeah, so I would wake up, I would get dressed, Sarah and her dad would come over, usually before Meg got out of bed, would get the boys ready, dressed and ready, and pretty much took care of them, and then loaded them up in the car. Meg would get up and get herself ready, let the dogs out, and be ready for work. I've offered to help get the boys ready, but I told her that I'd have to leave so early that I'd be basically waking the house up before they would normally get up. And she said, well, Sarah likes doing that anyways, likes getting the boys ready anyway. So it's really,
What time did the boys get up?
so I mean, I was out of the house 6:15. I believe that the door camera would trigger around 6:45. It's sometime around that time, I believe.
Okay. Now, There was some testimony that Meg was not involved at family events. Do you remember hearing that testimony from yourself as well as from your family members?
That she was not involved at some family event.
Did you listen today, Jonathan? These are redirects, so, or these are cross, so he was asked all these questions, and she will ask those again, because, and it feels like we've heard them a lot because they went over them with every witness. But these are the this is her chance to catch him in a lie, basically. You know? And Loud, they are sort of implying that she can't or won't get up and get the kids ready. I will tell you, well, I don't know. I just think it's frustrating sometimes when family does things for you and then people assume that you can't do things because other people are taking over that responsibility. And in fact, if that person wasn't there, you would be able to do it just fine. So I don't really like the implication.
Events.
Correct.
I remember hearing some of that testimony, yes.
Okay. She actually was involved at family events, wasn't she?
To
With
some,
helping with the children?
sometimes a lot less than others, but yes, to some degree, she was involved in some capacity, sure.
Okay. Now, do you recall a time at your sister Brittany's house when you gave Asher a pea pod?
Say that again?
Do you recall a time at your sister Brittany's house when you gave Asher a pea pod to eat? Do you remember that? Yes or no?
I'm just taking a moment to refresh
It's
my
okay.
memory. It was about 3 years ago, I think. So yeah, there was a time at my sister's house where I gave, I don't know if it was a pea pod, but yeah, it was some sort of vegetable, yes.
Okay. And do you recall that Asher actually choked on it?
Yes, so there was a time where he choked on a piece
And
of,
and isn't it true that Meg's the one who performed the Heimlich on him in order for him to stop choking? Is that correct?
it wasn't the Heimlich, but yeah, she patted his back and he spit it up. It was,
Okay. Now, you testified that you, I'll say the word you use, always play with the kids. You would play with them outside all the time. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Did often when you were playing with them outside, you would lay in the grass and be on your phone?
No,
If I had a picture to show you of you laying on the phone when the kids are playing and you were on your phone, would that picture be inaccurate?
so I guess there might be an instance where okay. I wouldn't,
I'm just saying, I'm going to say, I am as hard on, I'm always hard on the person who's testifying right in front of me. Especially, it sounds like I'm beating on somebody a lot of the time when I just go on and on. But him and his case is all we've heard so far. And I promise you, I will treat Megan with the exact same amount of disdain and distrust that I do Jacob. But I'm telling you right now, I'm getting vibes that Jacob is laying traps here. Also, I find it, I don't know that they will be given 50-50 custody because he works 36-hour shifts sometimes. And it's not necessarily in a judge's purview to know that he's giving time for the grandparents basically to care for these kids as opposed to the actual parent. And so I don't think it's that far-fetched that she would want the regular standard parenting order as opposed to 50-50 custody. I have a funny feeling that, and just like my ex recognize how much less child support you pay when you have 50-50 custody. And when you make a lot of money, that has an impact. So just keep that in mind. We will, when we hear Megan, don't you worry, I will rail into her for all of her shit that she says too. But right now, I'm getting weird vibes from Jacob, especially when he's being pressed on certain things, because almost everything he said has actually turned out not to be as true. He didn't go to that doctor. He does drink. He didn't pay all the bills. So, you know, I'm hearing it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. How dare I question the pureness? Megan, don't get a command. You don't think you guys are so funny. Love it. Yeah, his parents are taking care of the kids. And in Michigan, I think there's a right of first refusal to be taken into account. So what that means is if it's your parenting time and you, the parent, are not able to exercise that custody parenting time before you get somebody else to do it, you have to offer that to the parent first, and they have the right to first refuse that. That's where I think this lies. I actually think that that's where this might lie.
Say that a picture doesn't exist of me laying in the grass on my phone. That I guess that's in the realm of possibility.
Would it be fair to say that when you and Meg were at home with the children, you were often on your phone?
No, I would say that's inaccurate.
Last time we were here, you also indicated that the children don't cry out for Meg when they're with you and your family at sporting events. Do you recall saying that the kids don't cry out for Meg?
I don't remember using those exact words, "don't cry out for Meg," but they act normal for the situation. So I would say that it would not be normal for their kids to see either of us and completely ignore one or the other. So when they're with me, they're not, and Meg is not in sight, they're not, like, where's mom? They're completely content with me. But sure, if Meg is in sight, then the kids will obviously acknowledge her. I would say that's a pretty normal reaction of any child.
Do you find that they want to gravitate towards Meg when she's around?
I wouldn't say that's accurate, but it was the same as, so
I'm talking about Meg. I'm not talking about you. So do the kids go towards Meg when she's around?
when she is in sight, the kids acknowledge Meg, yes.
Okay. So this past weekend you had team pictures, is that correct, for your soccer team?
That is correct.
Did both children want to be with Meg?
No. So at some point, hold on. So at some point during the ending, when she was leaving, the boys both said bye to her 2 or 3 times. I was in line paying for not only my pictures, but also Meg's pictures. No good deed goes unpunished. Yeah, Meg was in sight 3 to 5 feet away, and Asher and Sam wanted to say goodbye. Yes.
Okay. Was Asher hanging on Meg's leg?
He sat on Meg's leg, yes.
Okay. Now, have you ever told the children that they can't go to their mom?
Absolutely not one single time have I ever said that.
Okay. Have you ever witnessed your family members block the children from going to Meg?
No.
Have you ever told the kids they're not allowed to call their mom during your parenting time?
No. As a matter of fact,
Have you ever told the kids that your phone is dead and so they can't call their mom?
no.
Have you ever had to buy the children treats to keep them away from their mom?
No.
You testified that Meg drinks just as much as you do. when you guys would go out on dates. Is that correct?
Oftentimes more, but
Okay.
yes.
In the past 3 years, how many dates did you and Meg go on?
In the past 3 years, somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 10. Oh, 3 years? Yeah, it's roughly 6.
I'm sorry, what? 6 dates in 3 years? And you wonder why your marriage is in shambles? Maybe I'm too demanding. If I ever get married again, I want a date night a month. I want a date night a month. Minimum. Minimum. Yeah, she takes the whiskey on the rocks. But she wasn't driving.
Maybe.
Hold on. You think that's high maintenance? Is that high maintenance? No, whatever. I'm high maintenance then, and I'll maybe end up alone. But like, I feel like 1 date a month is like minimal. So minimal. Especially my kid's older. I don't even have to worry about kids. This should be simple. And also, I'm getting offers for 2 date nights a month? Once a week? Oh my God, that's amazing. See?
More.
Now, we heard from your family members that you don't consume alcohol out on the boat. Is that a true statement, or do you drink alcohol out on the boat?
There's definitely been times where I have not consumed any alcohol on the boat, and that over the years, it's been even more times that I don't than I do. But there's also been times on the boat where I have consumed alcohol, yes.
Okay. It wasn't a routine that on the way to the boat, you guys would stop at the liquor store and you would pick up some sort of alcoholic beverage to put in the cooler?
That is not a routine at all. I would stop at a gas station. I would get waters, Gatorade, fruit for the boys. I would load the cooler full of all that stuff. And then yes, there was times where I would get 2 alcoholic beverages that also fit in the cooler.
Okay. Now, in my Exhibit H are text messages between you and Meg. Did you admit to Meg that you had a problem with alcohol?
Can you tell us where?
July 5th of 2022.
And what was the exhibit, Ms. Payson?
It's Exhibit H. It's that hundreds of pages of text messages.
Do you know what page number it is?
I do not, because I don't have it pulled up. I can pull it up if you want and tell you what page.
I think that'd probably be faster. But it's July of 22.
July 5th of 2022.
I'm on May.
Hang on.
Is the judge going to review the 800 pages of these? Oh my God.
I feel like I should know these.
I know, because I did them by date, not by page number.
I'm in July, so I'm getting there.
I gotta find the page number though. I know what page it is on the small paper. I don't know what page it is on the.
Okay, I'm almost there. Let's see. July 5th. We got it. I would use the arrows rather than the touchpad because the touchpad goes too fast. We've got it.
You got it from July 5th.
We do.
Okay. And during that text message, Mr. Smith, you admit that alcohol should be put on the shelf permanently. Is that correct?
So in this text, I did.
Okay. Did you tell Anta Lutz about that email that you told Meg that you thought alcohol should be put on the shelf permanently? Did you tell Anta that?
So this text in particular, no, but it's also on the context that I'm just trying. I know how she gets when a situation didn't go exactly her way. So it's just easiest to agree with whatever it is that she's trying to. I mean,
I'm sorry, what? That didn't make any sense. If somebody in my life, like, I'm going to tell you right now, if somebody was like, you really got to quit drinking, Paige. Like, you got to quit drinking. And I didn't drink ever, I wouldn't be like, you know what, you're right. I got to put this onto the shelf forever. Like, that's such a weird conversation to have if you don't acknowledge that you have a problem. Fletcher boy, marriage is the penalty for shoplifting in some cultures. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know. And again, I think that it's possible that they are just as bad for each other. This situation is just toxic. But I don't know. I'm getting that's a weird thing. It's a weird thing for me to hear from Jacob, you know. And oh, Bill with a late fee. What'd you miss? Did David get demoted to Pope yet? Yeah, he is. The white smoke has come out. Pope Jacob is there. I'm kidding, obviously. Thank you, Bill. Although they do talk about Catholicism a little bit more later, which I find interesting. And there's a weird Catholic joke. But thank you again, Bill. And honestly, barely much. We're still on cross-exam of Jacob, and Leslie is out to pounce. She is getting through the things. I have to say her pace is a lot better than the other ones, you know? That's actually, okay, there's a fair point. Cellulite yoga pants. Sometimes you're willing to give up stuff that if they aren't a problem for you, but a problem for your partner. That's entirely true. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You and me both, that are all. You and me both. Oh, I love it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. Let's keep going. We got a long time to go.
So you just told her that to appease her rather than to admit that you had a problem?
I don't think that there was a problem from that incident, no.
In those text messages back on mine's uploading, so I can't tell you the page number in just a second. If you can scroll back to December 20th of 2020. Oops.
December 20th, 2020.
Yep.
"2020? Guys, this is so long ago. One of the children wasn't even alive." Hello? Hello? Also, do you think Jacob brought like 4
It's going to
water
be
bottles this
page
time?
900 and
900, page 900.
I'm close.
Keep that in mind. Of course, we don't know all the context.
Okay, we've got it.
And to be clear,
Starts
I
out-
don't, just before she gets going on this, I want to make it clear. from what I've seen so far, my issue is not with his drinking. My issue is not even with his attitude. My issue is with his availability of time to care for the children as the parent. I don't believe working the job that he does that has no flexibility in terms of he's on a train or he's on a job site. Like it's obvious to me that that is the issue here. That regardless if he drinks or whatever, the whole point is that he needs to, I don't think he has the actual time to care for these children 50% of the time actively. I don't know that she doesn't have similar difficulties working at her job, except that she's working from home. Again, I don't know, but I just, based on what we heard him doing 36-hour shifts, that seems untenable to caring for children, young children, 50% of the time.
You want a free coffee from Starbucks, that one?
Yeah, if you scroll down to page 996.
Oh, so we're okay.
The difference is that they're not putting the kids in daycare. He's using his parents to do it. And I think that if you look at 50 for 50, I'm worried about overnights. I'm worried about outside of daycare hours. When you work 36-hour shifts, the likelihood that nobody's there to, like, we're talking breakfast, lunch, and dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's more than daycare. That's more than a standard, hey, I'm done at the end of the day and I'm home to take care of my children. So again, I'm not saying that he doesn't have the ability to care for them and spend time with them, but I'm saying that I don't know as a judge if the judge is going to look at that in the best interest of the children to make it so that they work on his schedule as opposed to allowing them to have a pretty much more stable environment, you know. I know that family can help you and should and all that kind of stuff, and her family does too. That's not my point. My point is, if I was the lawyer on this, I would be hammering home, and I guess they did try, the time available. And I think that also the other important thing is Michigan has rules for this. Michigan has really strict rules for this in terms of the right of first refusal for non-custodial parents or a parent without custody at that moment. So, again, I think I could be totally wrong. I haven't heard her speak yet. When I hear her speak, I'm sure my mind will be changed. I'm just so lucky I'm not the judge, and I just live in Canada and watch this all day.
We were texting a lot that day.
They text a lot every day.
Yes.
Only 2,000 pages.
Okay, we are there.
You're in the gray, is that correct, Mr. Smith? Your statements are in gray and Meg's are in blue, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
December 20th of 2020.
But what if his schedule is he's on call and all those things? I don't know. It bothers me as a parent who did bend over backwards around somebody else's fucked up schedule. The one who wins is not the kid and it's not the parents, it's the corporation. Also, where are you from in Canada, Carolyn? I'm on Vancouver Island, so humble brag.
If you scroll up one more page to 995 is where I'm going to start. Do you see where Meg asked you, did Noah see you get sick last night? Which is December 29th of 2020?
That's correct.
Okay. And you answered no, he didn't see you get sick,
That's
correct?
correct.
And then you indicate you didn't think it was a problem, but definitely def is, correct?
That is what I said in the text, yes.
Okay, and then you said I'm going to go complete sobriety, correct?
Yep.
Is that the night that you puked all over Noah's bathroom?
There was some, yes, that was that night. Yep,
Okay, that we had heard testimony about?
that's correct.
Okay. Did you and May get into an argument about that?
No, it wasn't an argument. So
That's a yes or no question. I don't need an explanation right now. Thank you.
the answer
So,
wouldn't necessarily. Okay.
so in two text messages that I've just shown you, you've admitted that alcohol should be put on the shelf by you and that it's definitely a problem. Is that correct? In those text messages?
The text messages would indicate that, yes.
Okay. If you scroll to January 25th of 2021.
Leslie, just to interrupt for a moment, I'm going to ask Carolyn a question because this is a funny story that I tell all the time. Carolyn, do you really mean that you have a niece that lives on Victoria Island up in the Arctic? Question mark. Or is it like my family in Scotland who happened to look at a map one day, think she lives in Victoria, it's an island, and they found Victoria Island all the way up in the top, very north part of Canada. And when I asked them to come visit us, they said, "Oh, we're not coming there. It's way too cold." And I thought, what are you talking about? And I had them show me on a map where they thought I lived. And they pointed out Victoria Island. And I said, no, Victoria is on Vancouver Island. But lots of people make that mistake. But I don't think there's very many inhabitants on Victoria Island. But I do live in Victoria on Vancouver Island.
I'll tell you what page it is in just a second. Why I'm looking for that, was there a period of time that you, during this period of time that you didn't consume alcohol in order to be sober?
What period of time are you referring to?
This period of time where you say you were going to put it on the shelf and it's definitely a problem.
Again, there was stretches throughout our relationship where I did not drink. So there were 2-3 months here, 2-3 months there. I wouldn't drink. That was likely a time where for maybe 2-3 months where I didn't consume a beverage.
Okay.
Alcoholic beverage.
Have you ever done any substances that would, if you would have tested positive, would have jeopardized your work?
No,
Have you ever done an at-home drug test?
I have, and Meg knows full well what that was from. I did buy a
Okay, hang on. So yes, you did, correct?
yes,
And did it come back positive?
that one did actually, yes.
Okay, and what did it come back positive for?
THC.
Okay. Did you then do a whole body cleanse?
No,
Did you buy anything in order to cleanse your body from the THC?
no.
You didn't hide those bottles in the garage?
Hide those bottles of what?
You're saying you've never purchased a body cleanse?
I have never purchased a body cleanse to cleanse myself of THC. No,
Okay. Did you admit to Meg that you tested positive for drugs?
I did. Well, not for drugs, but that I told her that that test came back positive. Yes.
Okay. Did you admit any of this to Anta during your substance abuse evaluation?
No, because it wasn't substance abuse. If I could clarify, but
No, but you didn't. Did you admit to Anta that you've ever tested positive for THC?
I took CBD that has trace amounts of THC that the home tests do pick up because they pick up any level regardless of how microscopic they are.
Okay. And so you did or didn't tell Anta about that?
I did not tell Anta that I took CBD. No.
Okay. Did you ever promise Meg that you were going to stop drinking?
I wouldn't. Did I ever promise Meg that I would stop drinking? That that could have been said. You'd have to. I mean, possibly.
Okay. Did you stop?
Alcohol was consumed after that, both with
Okay.
Meg as well.
Okay. In the past 3 years, if you had a guess, how many arguments did you and Meg have about your alcohol use?
Not many.
So your alcohol.
Okay, well, that goes against what we were thinking then. If he says, yeah, she was on me a lot. Even when I wasn't really a big drinker, but that was a big thing for her. And that's why I agreed to do it. This doesn't make any sense. She once in a while approached you about not drinking and you immediately acquiesce and say, oh, you're right, I should quit. That seems weird. I'm just saying. That seems weird. Also, what he's saying is true with CBD. You really don't know what you're getting a lot of the time. And in fact, hemp can still carry, I think it's like 0.3% THC, which is, I mean, negligible. I'm not getting anybody high, but it would show up on a zero threshold test.
Use didn't almost end your relationship before it finally ended in 2023?
No. 95% of our conflict was financial.
Okay. In the last 5 years, how many times did you move out of the home?
In the last 5 years, how many times did I move out of the home?
Yeah.
The incident that I had testified to back, I can't remember what year it was, 2019 maybe. When she told me it was her way or the highway, I did go to work, came home, packed my stuff, and I left. That is correct.
Okay. So you're testifying that you've only moved out twice in the last 5 years.
I moved out the first time, I was kicked out this last time that finally ended the relationship. That was the only 2-time incidents, yes.
Okay. When you were out in 2019, how long were you out of the house?
I believe I was gone it was probably no more than a week until she called me
Okay.
to reconcile.
Okay. And your testimony was that you never left alcohol around the house except for the little tumblers that you would pour in your dresser drawer.
I mean, there might have been cans that I'm not going to say there was never an empty can of alcohol that was. I didn't intentionally hide alcohol, I guess is what I'm saying. Was there a can found somewhere? That's possible, absolutely.
You never hid bottles and towels.
I've never had to hide alcohol. There's been no reason for me to have to hide alcohol.
Okay. What was your drink of choice?
Probably.
Make a guess in the chat. Make a guess what you think his drink of choice is gonna be. I'll give you a hint. There's 2 of them. That's 2 of them. Tsunami. I don't Webster. Could it be Judge Webster's alter ego? I don't know that that's gonna happen, but stay tuned and we'll find out. Right, she's thinking that, eh? I kind of wild in Colorado. Beer, beer, rum and whiskey, whiskey and beer, fireball and beer, Canadian beer. No, he's drinking something far from Canadian beer. Okay, good guesses, you guys. Good guesses. I laughed when I heard this earlier because he calls it something different. Let's just put it that way. He calls it not the Diet Dew. No, it's an alcohol. Is that alcoholic? Is that alcoholic? No, it's like a beer name, and then he changes it.
A Moscow Mule is what I would order when we'd go out.
Okay, how about at home?
I wouldn't say I had a drink of choice, but I would have a natural light working around the yard as kind of like a refresher in the summer.
Is that a natty light? I've never heard anybody call it a natural light. Is that what a natty light is? Because I have never heard anybody call it that. Is that a separate drink, or is that what he's referring to? He's literally the only person in the world to call it that. I've only ever heard it called natty light. I find it crazy.
Truly, well, I've had Trulies around the house.
You never drank alcohol out of a flask at home?
No,
Okay. On the golf course?
out of a flat. I've drank alcohol on the golf course, yes, but never out of a flask.
Do you ever pour alcohol in a tumbler?
I have not. I mean, I can't say I've never done that to like go out on the boat to keep my beverage cold or something like that, but it would be 1 to 3 times. I don't know.
Okay.
I'd really have to think hard about it.
Did you ever drink alcohol and drive the children?
Never. Well,
Okay.
okay, the 1 or 2 beverages that I might have at a family outing, sure, I did have that. But
Now, this may sound petty, but you testified that you were, or I think one of your,
Oh, she just said this may sound petty. I'm going to need to write down that timestamp for myself so that I can make that into a short. I think that should be the intro. I'll make that into the intro for the rest of the series. This may sound petty times 6.
family members testified you were always the one who would go and start the car when it was cold or warm it up or cool it off for the children and Meg. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Wasn't it a remote start? Didn't Meg's car have a remote start?
No, you'd still have to go in. It's like a remote pocket, but I would go in and start the car to actually start the AC. If you remote start, your AC is only working at like 10%. It's not the.
Now we were talking about dash cams. Do you have dash cams inside and outside of your car?
I have had 1 dash cam inside of my car at one point, yes.
When did you remove that?
When I found out that it was not working properly,
When was that?
it was the last date. So whatever that last date was on the footage that I provided is the date that I just never put it back up. No.
Did you ever leave the kids unattended in your vehicle?
Did I ever leave the kids unattended in my vehicle? Just
Mhm.
getting gas? But no. Other
Okay.
than
Did you, before giving any of those dash cams, did you delete any of the videos so they weren't turned over?
I did not delete anything. As a matter of fact, I didn't even review, but maybe 2 or 3 of the videos.
Let's talk about your work a little bit more. Can you tell me a little bit more of your territory? It goes all the way from Battle Creek, Schoolcraft to South Bend. Is that correct?
No, so my territory ends in pretty much Climax, Michigan, which
Okay.
for track miles is milepost 156. So I cover from milepost 156 in Climax down to 96, which is South Bend. So it's approximately 60 miles of track.
That you're responsible for.
That is correct.
How often prior to October would you say on average during the week would you have to stay late for work on average during the week?
I would say that on average during the week is less than one that I would have to stay. But there was a time where there was frequent call out. It was more common for me to go home and get called back than it was for me to work late.
Okay, but you were always able to go back, is that correct?
I was always able to go back.
Yeah. If you were called back, Meg was home with the kids, so you were able to go back to work, is that correct?
That is correct, yeah, in theory.
You ever called in early?
I have been called in early, yes.
Since October, how often have you had to stay over?
Since October of
2023, sorry.
Since October, how much have I been called? I can only think of 2 or 3 times off the top of my head. I've been called frequently, but it's kind of just been landed that every time I get called, I have the boys, so
Do you go in?
I do not.
You admit that your children were baptized Catholic, is that correct?
That is correct.
And there was actually a baptism for Samuel in March of 2023, is that correct?
For Samuel in March of 20, that sounds correct.
Okay. And did you attend that baptism?
I did.
Okay. And did you actually prepare mimosas for everybody at the brunch prior to that baptism?
Meg and I both went to Sam's Club, and she told
I
me
didn't-
because we're a
I
Catholic
didn't,
family.
I didn't ask what Meg said. I asked if you prepared mimosas. You, not Meg.
I did offer a couple mimosas to people, yes.
Okay. Was Meg upset that people were drinking before going to church?
Absolutely not.
Now, Meg participated or planned that luncheon, is that correct? Or that breakfast before the baptism?
I mean, we both had a hand in it
Okay.
to include
And
her
she
family.
also planned Samuel's birthday for March of 2023, is that correct? His birthday party?
We both had a hand in that as well.
Okay. And did you also have a hand, I'm assuming you're gonna tell me you had a hand in planning Asher's birthday in January of 2023?
Yeah, I definitely had a hand in all of the boys' birthdays and activities.
Well, tell me what your involvement was then for,
Setting
sorry.
up, I mean, purchasing the decorations, setting them up. Her parents brought the food. I mean, she would send out the invitations and but in terms of like setting up the house and the decorations and like that kind of stuff, I played a large role in that.
Okay. For both those birthdays in 2023 or just Samuel's?
That I can remember. I would or that I can remember, yeah, both of them.
Okay. Now, in regards to your golf league, when did you join golf league?
I want to say that was 2021.
Okay, and how many nights a week was your golf league?
It was one night a week.
What night?
Well, so you went on 6 dates in 3 years, but you golfed once a week. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Of the week was that?
Tuesday nights, I believe.
And was it a 9-hole or 18-hole?
It was 9-hole.
And where was that at?
Turtle Creek.
How far is that from Meg's house?
15, 20, by 20 minutes. I'm not sure. 15, 20.
Okay. Was Meg home with the boys when you were at Golf League?
For a part of the time, I would say. I guess most of it, because after
We don't know yet, Carolyn, because she hasn't had her turn to talk yet. When she has her turn to talk, don't you worry, I'll roast her too. I've heard about a spa night that she went on.
her work and whenever the boys got dropped off. So the time I got home, that would be correct.
All right. Do you play some sort of battle game on your phone?
No, I mean, have I ever played I know what she's referencing, and I have played that a couple times. I was told to try it, but it's not anywhere near. It was like a week.
Was your brother-in-law on your golf league, or would you guys golf on weekends?
My brother-in-law and I rarely golfed. It was my best friend growing up that I did the golf league with.
Okay. Your brother-in-law testified that you guys would golf
We would
on
golf.
on Saturdays for tournaments or something like that.
So yeah, Meg would let me do like 3 tournaments a year, and my brother-in-law would pretty much golf in all 3 of those, as well as her brother-in-law.
Okay.
Judge is playing the battle game right now on his
That incident in
iPod.
the summer when there's allegations that you passed out on your mom's couch. How much alcohol did you drink that day?
Again, I mean, 3 years ago, I
Yes, Sarah, I call it the breadbasket of Law Tube, Michigan, Michigan, Georgia, Texas, and Washington State. The breadbasket of Law Tube.
it's hard to accurately say 2, 3, 4. Again, it's over a 5 hours period. 3.5 years ago, I don't keep track and memorize that kind of
So you don't
information.
remember.
No.
Who's Asher's teacher?
Oh, what is her name? I can't recall her name.
You know how you indicated that he goes to school Thursday through Friday?
I did not indicate that. I said that I indicated that he goes to school Tuesday through Thursday.
Okay. And do you ever drop, how often have you met the teacher?
Just I did parent-teacher conferences, and then just during his activities that they would have at Easter, I'd run into her. A couple times, between 3 and 5 times.
And that was just in passing, or did you have meetings with her?
The one was a parent-teacher conference, and then I had a phone conversation with her, and then at times in passing.
Okay. Why did you have a phone conversation with her?
Just to clarify what had happened with the note she had posted to Tadpoles, the app.
Okay. And that app is the one that keeps parents informed of what's going out throughout the day?
That's correct.
Okay. And you signed yourself up for that, you indicated?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you ever reach out to the teacher to see, besides those occasions on a weekly basis, to see how Asher's doing in school?
Do I reach out to the teacher?
Yeah.
I have not reached out to his teacher in that capacity.
Okay. Do you know what a typical day for Asher at school looks like?
I
What
know,
they do? Sorry.
yeah, they do. I mean, they have breakfast, they'll have a playtime. They have like a word and color of the week. They sing songs. They have a time they go outside and are able to play.
Is there any like set day that they do gym, or set day that they do reading, or set day that they do library or anything like that that you're aware of?
I'm not aware of the exact days, no. Of the
Are you, do you know if they follow a curriculum?
They do follow a curriculum, yeah.
Do you know what curriculum they follow?
The name of the curriculum, I don't know the name of the curriculum.
Okay. Is it faith-based, do you know?
It is, yeah, it's a faith-based school, yeah.
Okay. Do you know if the curriculum's faith-based?
Likely,
You don't know for sure, you just think likely it is?
yeah, I guess I don't know for sure.
Okay. Is religion important to Meg? Is her
Yeah.
religion important to her, do you know?
I would say yes.
Okay. And has she indicated that she would like to raise the kids Catholic? That's why you had them baptized Catholic?
She has indicated that, yes.
Okay. And are you in agreement with that or not in agreement?
I'm in agreement with what I testified to, that God is a presence in their life regardless of denomination.
One second, Your Honor.
1 second, Your Honor.
If that's the if your belief is that God's a presence in their life, why did you agree to have the kids baptized Catholic?
It's what Meg wanted, and I didn't see a negative in it.
So would you agree that they should continue Catholic?
Again, I believe that they should have God as a presence in their life regardless of denomination. He's in a Sunday school, a church that I grew up in, that the boys, Noah, all of us have also attended.
Did you sorry, to clarify that prescription from last weekend for Asher's allergies, did you call in the prescription or did Meg?
I would assume the prescription was called, she took him to the appointment, and I'm assuming the doctor called in the prescription, or I did not call it in. That's all I know.
Did you ask Meg to call and see if it was ready?
I did not ask her to. She had indicated to me that the prescription is not yet ready. So I reached out and offered that if the prescription was not ready by the time I come get the boys, that I would be willing to go and pick it up.
Do you and Meg now communicate via Our Family Wizard?
Yes.
And that program has like a calendar base?
Yeah, there's
Like you can upload stuff to a calendar of
Yeah,
events?
that's
Okay.
correct.
Do you guys use that?
To a degree, yes.
Okay. During your relationship, what was Meg's hobbies?
Reading.
Oh my God. How savage is that? Oh, hold on though. Wait, does anybody know what my hobbies are? Do I know what my hobbies are? Do I have any hobbies?
I don't know.
I don't know. I just feel like that's fucking savage. But that's probably what he's wishing to say. Bitching, whining, being generally disagreeable.
Um, yeah, no glaring hobbies for per se, but
Did she have any hobbies outside the home?
do I?
Did she?
Did she have hobbies outside the home? Just her friends, whatever they would go do.
Do you know
So my hobbies include getting stoned, watching other people's god awful court cases in the evening with my friends, and oh, I do like cooking and eating and traveling. Oh, hold on. I can think of lots of things.
what they would go and do?
Her friends have gone to St. Joseph on a girls' weekend where they drank. They would frequently go to dinner. I know that. She would
How
go to
often?
Lansing, Kalamazoo.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. They would go to Lansing. One of her friends lives in Lansing. They've met there a couple times. Another friend lived in Kalamazoo. They would go there. Yeah.
In the 5 years of your relationship, how many overnights did she spend outside of the home? Without the children?
Without the children, one night.
Prior to October of 2023, when you guys got your parenting time order,
Mhm.
how often did you see your sister Brittany? On a monthly basis, let's narrow it down.
Prior to October of 2023, how often did I see my sister on a monthly basis? Going back how far? Are you talking about a certain time period or
Go
just in
back 2 years.
how often would I see my sister? A lot. Um, 3, 4, a dozen times a month, maybe, plus or minus.
With or without the children?
Predominantly with the children. That was the majority of those times.
Was Meg with you?
No. Some of them. I'm not saying she was never with me, but again, the majority, no.
At the same amount of time you were seeing your mom prior to October of 2023?
I'd say that's a fair, roughly, yes.
One second, Your Honor.
Come on, Leslie, be done here, and then we're gonna have to suffer through recross or redirect. Ugh. And I'm sorry to say it
Couple
lasts
last questions. You testify that you gave
30 minutes plus 40 minutes. Damn it, 40 minutes.
Meg $25,000 for rent and utilities over a 2-year period of time. Is that correct?
It was somewhere in the neighborhood of 25,000. Yeah,
Okay.
24
20
checks.
Sorry, say that again.
It was 24 checks over that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you gave her $25,000 roughly to pay for rent and utilities over the 5 years of your relationship.
Negative. That is not correct. That is solely for rent. I paid the utilities directly to the utility company.
Okay. But again, solely for rent for over a period of 5 years, correct?
That is also kind of not correct because we didn't live together since the day we met each other. But for the time period that we were in a house together, I paid for 26 out of the 31 months from that time period.
Okay. But didn't you testify you guys moved in together shortly after in 2018?
I said I was unaware of the date exactly, but it was sometime near the end of 2018, early 2019, I believe is what I said.
You had made mention that Meg went out with her friends to a New Holland brewery.
That's correct.
Did she really go? Or did she stay home?
She went. The only time she didn't go to something was when she wanted to go have a spa day with her girls. I told her to go, and then she ended up changing her mind and not going. But she's gone every other time that she's asked to go somewhere.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay. Ms. McNiff, any redirect?
I do.
Oh, Miss McNiff, I have to go potty. So could you like, I don't know. Let's just watch her.
Jake, when you took the children to Illinois for spring break, was there ever a time when Meg could not contact you?
There was never a time, and the boys FaceTime Meg on the Tuesday or Wednesday of that spring break week. I can't remember which day it was, but they did have a FaceTime call while at Great Wolf Lodge with their mother.
In addition to the FaceTime call, did they have any regular telephone calls?
They didn't have any, but none were also requested either.
Did at any time Meg contact you other than that FaceTime call, like through our family wizard or text?
She was in communication with me over the family wizard.
Did you ever not respond to her?
I always responded to her.
And you said that you were concerned that if she knew exactly where you were, that she would just show up. Can you explain that concern more fully?
Yeah, I mean, they've even admitted they know when my parents are leaving 30 minutes prior to pickup. When the urgent care incident, as soon as Meg found out I was urgent care, her sister shows up. It just has felt like constant stalking, and they are constantly around if they have any indication of where we are. So I was just trying to have a spring break that I could enjoy and not have to have a concern of them showing up wherever we were at.
No, this is not a replay. This is redirect. So this is his lawyer redirecting him after the questions that the other lawyer asked in an effort to try and make them go their way.
Is there anything going on that would be a problem if they saw?
No.
And how do you feel about seeing Sarah at times when you don't expect it?
Honestly, it's not surprising because I watched for the last 5 years when I was with Meg. Sarah would follow Noah around when he's with his father then, so they're just attempting to do the same thing to me as which they do to him.
Who signed Asher up for tennis on Wednesdays?
I have paid and signed Asher up for tennis. I have bought his tennis racket and shoes for it. Even though he already had a tennis racket, it was an offer to me to use, but I would pick Asher up at 4 p.m. He would not be dressed and ready for tennis, so I would have to rush him to tennis, get him changed into appropriate tennis attire by 4:30 for the start of his classes. And yeah, I would be the one to. I've paid for all of Asher's activities to include tennis.
Did you sign him up before or after you separated?
Tennis was signed up after.
And did you consult with Meg about that? Was she in favor of it?
Meg reached out to me in regards to tennis because I believe it was finally an activity that landed on Wednesday my time. Every other activity that didn't land on a Wednesday had been denied.
What other activities did you ask for Asher to do that landed on something other than a Wednesday?
I had reached out to her about hockey and I believe a basketball. Hockey, I reached out and I hadn't heard back from her in like a week. So I went ahead and paid for Asher's hockey just so that the class would not fill up and she could use that as an excuse that the class was full. So I paid for it in hopes that she would let Asher come, and which she did not.
Have you signed up Asher for any activities other than the hockey without first discussing it with Meg?
I've discussed everything with Meg first, but I have signed up Asher for like spring soccer at Waddles Park, which she disagreed with.
Ms. Pazno asked you if it was better to have a quantity of time with the children or quality time. Do you remember that question?
I do.
How do you see the difference between quality and quantity?
Well, first, I don't believe that logic holds much weight. I mean, if that's the case, I will definitely have the boys full time, and I can definitely facilitate the boys to Meg to have some quality time, and I can keep the boys for the quantity of time. But I believe that quality time is definitely, coaching. I can't believe I'm sitting here today having to defend myself coaching my son as if it's some sort of negative. Playing bingo on the couch with my son is not the same as being on the field, being present for him scoring his first goal, teaching him about, teamwork and accountability and all the different aspects of life that can be taught through sports activities with your team. I never thought could ever be turned against me as a negative for wanting to defend to coach my son. And I will continue to coach him for hockey. I will coach him for basketball. I will coach him for all of his sports throughout his entire life, unapologetically.
Do you believe that with the parenting time that you're allowed now, the amount of time, the quantity, that you're able to have a quality experience of parenting your children?
No, because I'm trying to facilitate, I'm trying to keep their life as normal as it was before. So I'm trying to maintain all the relationships with our family. I'm trying to, play sports with them. I'm trying to have that quality individual time. Again, it's difficult. And, again, they're trying to turn the fact that it's a negative, that my family is always around my kids as if, again, that's some sort of negative. I love the fact that my grandparents are to my house before my kids get there. I'm glad that they're excited to love their grandkids. Again, that's something that I will always encourage. And I hope to have more time to be able to allow my kids to, develop better relationships with our extended family that they haven't been able to. It's very difficult to maintain all these different relationships, practice with all these different sports, and maintain individual time just for me and the boys. It's difficult, but doing the best I can.
You indicated to Ms. Pazno that on 2 occasions the children have been emotional at pickup. Is that accurate?
I actually believe that it's only been one time. So with the recent diagnosis of Asher's allergies, that would account for the other time where Asher looked like he had just like got done getting teary-eyed, but his eyes had kind of remained that way for the last couple of weeks because of his allergies. But the other time, upon investigation, Meg had taken Noah and some of her other family.
I'm going to object, would call for speculation unless he actually witnessed what happened.
Well, I think we're getting there. Okay,
Okay, well, let's set the foundation, then he can testify.
what on this other occasion, what did you observe Asher doing or anybody else with him?
Sarah was with him.
And where,
He can't figure out how to lay the foundation. She's not asking good questions either. That's a terrible foundation question.
were you?
At pickup at Meg's house.
And were Sarah and Asher outside or inside?
Asher had come out of the house crying.
Okay. And what did you see anything before that?
I did not see anything before that from when they left the house, but again, yeah, the cameras have always been removed or had been removed from the outside of the house during this time.
So Asher came out by himself?
Asher came out, I believe, first, and then Sarah came out after him carrying Sam.
And how was Sam?
Sam was normal. He reached out to me as he always does.
Okay. And then did Asher walk of his own accord to you?
He did. He was teary, but he walked to his own accord to me, yes.
And did he resist going with you?
He did not.
And then what happened?
Once Asher got into the vehicle, within minutes, he was his normal self.
Do you have any concerns about him being teary during a transition?
I do. Those few times that I have concerns, it's strange to me that once he gets inside of my vehicle, he acts a completely different way than when he comes out of the house walking to my vehicle.
Why were you so concerned about getting the Miralax dosage absolutely correct for Asher during spring break?
Just because I know the slightest deviation, I mean, Meg will jump on me about it. So, and it just didn't make sense that nothing was in writing. I had never seen a treatment plan that wasn't in writing, and I wanted to make sure that my son was getting the proper dosage. And so
What did you think might happen if you got it wrong?
Meg would be upset.
Ms. Paisno asked you about the urgent care bill. Have you been have you been asked to pay that bill?
I have.
And has Meg provided you with any documentation showing that she's paid her portion of the uninsured medical expenses for the year yet?
No, she has provided no such documentation.
Ms. Paisno asked you to provide to look at your pay stub and state what you made for 2023. Do you recall that?
I do.
And do you recall, did that include the back pay?
That included the back pay, and I also made a mistake on the medical expenses are not monthly, that's bi-weekly, so that was doubled.
Okay. And when did you receive, during what part of the year did you receive the back pay?
I believe that was early January.
And after you received the back pay, then did you start receiving the raises you were entitled to for the rest of the year?
That's correct. I believe our raises happen July 1st of every year for the period of the contract.
And were you able to ascertain what portion of your retirement is mandatory?
I actually don't believe our 401k, I do not believe there was a mandatory amount for that.
Ms. Paisno had asked you about the tier 1 and tier 2 retirement holding. Do you believe that the 401k is
That's our pension. So yeah, the tier 1, tier 2, that's all of our pension mandatory items.
okay? So the tier 1 and tier 2 are mandatory, but the 401k is not.
Correct.
Defendant has alleged that you've paid nothing for the children in 2023. Is that accurate?
That's not accurate at all. One of the last things I bought before our separation in July, all of Asher's pajamas I had just purchased. It was like 4 or 5 sets of pajamas.
That is definitely not what I expected to hear as the big expense item that he had really splurged on right before they separated. PJs? Is that what he's talking about? Pajamas? Fucking, you can get for $10, $20? See, that's weird to me. That's like, that's just weird.
Groceries. Again, anytime we ever left the house from January to when we separated, Meg never had to pay for anything. Anytime we left the house, whether it was food, stopping to get a drink, all of that stuff, I always paid for. I would take the boys at night. I'd oftentimes, like I said, pick her up a shake from Chick-fil-A. Anytime we were out of the house, I was paying.
Did you eat out much?
We ate out more times than we ate in. There was 1 month where I had $600 in expenses for takeout.
And was that
Rookie numbers, Brad. Fucking rookie numbers. Apparently, I know it costs a lot less to eat out in the States, and I've said this on my last trip to the Estados Unidos. I was fucking floored by how cheap it is to eat out. Cheaper than it would be to buy a lot of stuff. But telling me you spend $600, seriously, for a family of 5 here, that is going out 3 times. If 5 of them are getting what they want to eat, that would be maybe 3 restaurants. And I'm not talking nice restaurants. I'm talking Red Robin or, well, that's the only chain I can think of that you guys have too.
normal through
We-
through 2023?
That was normal for the majority of our relationship. We ate out frequently, very, very frequently.
Do you know how Asher got open wounds on his legs? Do you remember that?
I can't say for sure, but I know Meg would also use a backpack carrier to both go on walks with him. On her bike rides, she was in this backpack carrier where his legs would go through. And I know Asher throughout his life has had very sensitive skin. He had severe heat rashes in the summer from his diaper rashes in general. Asher has always had very, very sensitive skin.
Do you remember that being an issue?
I don't remember that being an issue. Again, I think it came and passed. We're just turning anthills into molehills at this point.
Has Meg, to this point, ever taken responsibility for her role in the breakdown of your relationship?
She has never had to take responsibility for anything, nor is she willing to. One of the last conversations we had before our separation in July of 2023, I asked her that exact same question. I was like, do you take responsibility of any part of this? And she paused and thought about it for a minute, and she said, I would need some examples.
How has it affected your ability to co-parent with Meg when her sister is handling the exchanges with the children?
It makes it incredibly more difficult. So much of what we're trying to communicate over Family Wizard, again, is 5-10 second conversations at pickup and drop off. She's always made excuses as to why she can't be present. You know, and a lot of the times it doesn't make sense because even when all 3 boys were coming, she still wasn't present. So she wasn't home watching Noah. Noah was with us. Sarah is still coming to get the boys. She's, you know, and I think there's, I can't say that.
Okay. How frequently are your parents with you during your parenting time?
They're definitely at all of the activities. It's rare occasions when they're, you know, like they mentioned at my house before we get there. That's rare, but oftentimes after the activities, they'll come spend time with the boys. Up in, you know, it's not a set amount of time, but they'll come spend time with the boys during almost every visit.
Are you advocating your childcare responsibilities to your parents?
Absolutely not. My parents do not cook, they do not clean, they do not do any of the childcare at my house. I do everything. Their time there is specifically and only to spend time and be around their grandchildren.
When you have the care of the children, are you the primary caregiver?
Yes, again, nobody changes diapers but me, nobody gets them dressed but me, no one bathes them but me. I do everything.
And were there times when you and Meg were together when you would be the primary caregiver? Like if she were not in the house, if she were doing something?
Yeah, I mean, the days that she would be knocked out with the migraines for 2 to 3 days, I was not only taking care of the boys, but I was also taking care of her, um, and the dogs. But yeah, there was times where I would bathe them. Um,
And were there
oh, and there's the times where she went to St. Joseph with her friends and spent the night there. I was home with all 3 boys during that time as well. And any times else she went out with her friends or had baby showers or any type of those type of functions.
Fletcher boy, I'm already a Waffle House lady. I went to Waffle House multiple times when I was in Florida last year and loved it. Made friends with the waitresses. I was beyond impressed with the fucking service and the food. I raved about Waffle House. Actually, all of the service that I had in the United States was really good, especially for the price that you paid. And I'll tell you right now, if you want to come to Canada, be prepared to be pissed off. Here's I remember I talked about this so many times. To-go refills are not a thing here. Down in the States, the lady offered me coffee and Coke to go. Again, keep in mind my bill at Waffle House was like under $8 for the breakfast, the 2 drinks that I had, and then she was giving it to me to go, a full fucking extra one of both. And I'm literally sitting there thinking to myself, hey, at home, this would be $75. Well, $35 for just me. So I tipped her so well. I was like, girl, you don't know how much this would cost. Yeah, like a full cup of soda to go. Yes, I would like that. And I'm so thankful for it. I was like amazed. And again, because fountain pop is cheap, coffee is actually cheap. So why do the restaurants here just get you? Also, if you go to like a Chinese restaurant, you're paying per pop. You don't get any refills. You're paying like $3.50 a can.
Where it was just adults, I was with the boys.
And were there ever times when you were gone, you were at work or you had to work late and she was the primary caregiver?
That's correct.
And were there ever times when one of you would be maybe doing yard work or doing something around the house and the other would be primarily watching out after the kids?
That is correct.
And how often did that switch back and forth?
There was no rhyme or reason to it, but it switched back and forth frequently. Like I said, we kind of had a routine with some of the stuff. Like I gave most of the baths, and then, like I said, I would get Samuel out first, get him dressed and ready, bring Samuel to Meg so that he could be breastfed, and then get Asher.
Of course. White rice at a Chinese restaurant, easy $5. Easy $5. Easy.
And get him dressed. And then by the time I got Asher dressed, we would like to go on our little nighttime cruise, listening to Coco Melon, and the boys would fall asleep. I would carry them in. That was a very frequent and common thing that we did.
With this incident where Asher choked on a vegetable, do you remember it as being a significant problem or?
No, like I
issue?
said, there was no Heimlich maneuver performed. It was like a pat on the back and situation resolved. It's, again, an anthill being turned into a molehill.
Do you regularly lay in the grass and play on your phone when you're playing outside with the kids?
No, if we wanted to sit here today and watch the hours of videos that I've taken on my phone of Asher hitting baseballs in the front yard, kicking soccer balls, hundreds of pictures, we could certainly put together a nice slideshow of all that time.
When Meg has the kids and you see them, do they gravitate towards you?
Yeah, that's why I believe that she pulled him out of soccer. She stopped bringing Sam to soccer because Sam was, she didn't want Sam to come see me any more than, what was necessary. So she stopped bringing the kids and then pulled Asher out of soccer completely early to prevent that time. And yeah, also at gymnastics, before she pulled him out of gymnastics, Sam would see me and want to come up and see me. The boys, it's a natural reaction for your kids to want to see you when you're in the presence of them.
What do you think an appropriate reaction would be from either you or her when the custodial parent has the children and the non-custodial parent at that time sees them in an activity? What do you think should happen?
Yeah, they're gonna be, they're gonna want to go say hi. They haven't been with them. The natural reaction is to go say hi to them.
And do you have any problems with that?
No, I have never had a problem with that. Matter of fact, at one of the recent tennis practices, Samuel wanted to go over and see Meg. So I took Samuel over to see Meg, and I sat down and played cards with Noah, her mom, and Meg at the same table playing cards. It was a non-issue. I'm not.
How do the kids respond when they see that kind of interaction with you and Meg and her sister?
I can already tell you what the Waffle House Index is, Bill. It is a storm rating where they actually rank different storms by what stores are closed, and Waffle House is literally the last of the last to close. They don't even have locks on some of the doors. And so, am I right? Basically, they rank storms based on the Waffle House, if they're open or not.
Sister and mom, and
Honestly, normal. Even Noah comes up and says hi to me, has normal conversation with me. Everything is normal.
do you think that's healthy for the kids to see civil interactions?
Yes, and I believe that I've even expressed to Meg that the more that the boys see that we are cordial and can be around each other, the better it is.
How do you handle phone calls to Meg when you have the kids?
We've had the 2 FaceTime calls over spring break. I have never once told Asher that he cannot call his mom. Yeah, I guess I can't comment any further.
If the kids want, if that, and I assume Samuel probably doesn't ask for the
Right.
phone as much as Asher. If Asher says, I want to call mom, what do you do?
I would let him, and not only would I let him do that, I have sent Meg numerous videos of just the boys saying, "Hey, mom, I love you." That's not the boys asking to do that. That is me doing that and suggesting that to the boys, like, "Hey, boys, want to send this to mom?" I have not received not one video or picture ever, but I still continue to send those videos to Meg.
And why do you do that even though it's not reciprocated?
Just because I think it's important. And again, I'm not only important for the boys to see that at least I am able, I want the boys to know that, or I don't want the boys to feel as if mom can't be talked about. I want the relationship of just being able to, I want it to feel normal. I want it to feel as if, we can take pictures and videos of these moments and send them back to one another. And just, I don't want the boys to ever feel like their parents don't like each other and are feuding. I don't want that for them. And so I'm trying to build that, and it's just been impossible.
Do you understand Attorney Pazno's question about buying the treats to have the kids stay away from mom? Like I like bribing the kids with
I know what she's
treats?
referencing, and I have a diaper bag, and I bring applesauce or just whatever snacks so that the boys get hungry. So I do have that stuff, but it's not like I have candy trying to bribe them away. Again, I've went down and sat at their table so that Meg could see Sam. I've done that. I've never said, "Hey, boys, you can't go down there," or "You can't." I've never done that, nor will I ever do that.
So are these snacks you have at activities?
Yeah, these are snacks I have at activities. That's correct.
Why did you tell Meg on July 5th of 22 that alcohol should be put on the shelf permanently.
I know how those conversations get. She'll berate me about the smallest things from 9 p.m. to 1 o'clock in the morning. And the only acceptable answer is to just agree with whatever it is that she is saying. And that's just how, you know, it's once Meg gets on a tangent, it's almost like you wait it out and then everything is normal. Like the next day was probably normal. Everything is fine. We'd be fine for 2 months and then she'd go off on another wild tangent, whether the stuff is accurate or not. If you just wait it out, everything is normal.
So was this the same incident that your mom talked about you falling asleep on her couch?
That's the same incident. That's
And
correct.
and again, did you pass out because you'd had too much alcohol?
No, there was work. It was, we're on the boat dancing. We were doing a boat parade that we've won again for 9 years in a row or whatever it is now. It was, you go inside and you hit AC, you turn on the fan, all their cousins and aunts and are in the other room. I laid down and enjoyed.
We have a goddamn reputation to uphold, Lisa. You understand that? 9 years we have won this boat parade, and I'm not letting any silly divorce get in the way of that. Okay? No 36-hour shift, no kids in the way. None of it is getting in the way of me dancing my ass off on this float on a boat.
The cool breeze.
So if you didn't appease Meg and tell her, okay, alcohol's on the shelf, then what would happen next?
It would just continue the argument. I would just continue to be berated. And I would like to add, by the way, that I drove home from that July 4th when I was apparently I drove home.
Did Meg ask you to not drive?
No.
Did she offer to drive?
No.
So if you would say something to her like I'll put alcohol on the shelf permanently, then did she ever later on initiate having a cocktail with you? Or
Sorry, say that again.
like after this incident where you said I'll put the alcohol on the shelf permanently, did you go for a period of time without drinking?
There was likely a period of time.
And then who would initiate drinking again?
There was times where that she would text me or call me and say, hey, I'm kind of feeling a drink tonight. Basically stop and pick up something, and I would just pick up a random drink. Like I said, the last time it was a.
That sounds so obscure to me. I don't drink, but I can tell you right now, if I felt like drink, look at her face, by the way. Just like this beautiful side roll eye thing here. If I was telling somebody to pick me up alcohol, maybe I don't know. I wouldn't be saying, hey, pick up whatever you want. No. Maybe I have more of a problem than he does. I'd be like, bring me the vodka, dumbass. Why would you bring me something else? Like there's no question in my mind. Like if I'm going to drink, I will drink vodka. But if I say, hey, can you pick me up a drink on your way home? I mean Coke. I mean a Coca-Cola with lots of ice, extra ice.
Bacardi, cranberry juice, and Sprite was the last one. And then, yeah, every date night that we went on, we'd have at least one drink.
And did she ever complain and say, hey, wait a minute, you said you were going to put the alcohol on the shelf permanently?
Not one time during any of those occasions, no.
And we had already talked before about this 12/29 incident, this New Year's Eve incident. Again, did you stop drinking after that for a while?
Likely. And again, that was the incident that I had drank those malt beverages. It was like stuff that I had never drank. It was an upset stomach. I woke up at 4 a.m. I did get sick. I went to work the very next morning. I was embarrassed. I got to work at 7 a.m. I believe I had called Meg. I called her by 7:15. I was like, hey, look, this happened. I'm embarrassed. This is why it happened. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed. I am. But it wasn't because I was overly intoxicated.
Do you think that these text messages that talk about alcohol are a good reflection of what was actually happening in your relationship around alcohol?
No, again, we're looking at 3 texts. We have 2,000 pages of text of how much we love each other, can't wait to get married, engaged, talking about weddings and this and that. We're looking at 2 pages maybe of
William Ann Coulter is a fucking lawyer. I knew that. She went to University of Michigan Law School. Wow, she's 62. Anyways, but she is a lawyer, and she also went to Cornell.
texts out of 2,000.
Miss Paisley asked you if you'd ever done substances that would jeopardize your employment with a drug test. What did you take?
I went to a tobacco shop. My buddy had recommended the CBD vape that was supposed to help you relax. I was like, I had taken CBD, but we both have taken CBD before, prior to, and then I wanted to try this vape. Again, I went to the tobacco shop. It's next to Circle K on Columbia. I can't think of the name of it right now, but they are not allowed to sell THC products. They don't have a license to sell THC. I bought this vape. I tried it. I tested myself the next day after I tried it because it did say it can have trace amounts of THC in it. So I bought this home test just to see what would happen. I did fail it, and I did research as like why did I fail if it's CBD? It says it's because the home tests have no minimum level. It'll pick up the most microscopic trace of THC, to whereas a test at your work has a minimum threshold of what it has to meet before it's a failed test. But it was still enough to scare me that I was done with it. I didn't use it again. But I have never purchased or consumed THC willingly or knowingly otherwise.
Do you know if Meg has ever taken any THC products?
Yes, she has. She has taken THC gummies herself, even though her work does not allow that.
Who suggested the mimosas for the baptism party or baptism breakfast?
We were all at Sam's Club. We were getting
And
food.
who's we all?
Oh, sorry. Meg and the boys, we were at Sam's Club, getting decorations, food, and we went by like the champagne aisle, and so a week or two prior to that, they had mimosas at one of her family's events. That's why I had the idea of mimosas, is because we had just come from an event 1 or 2 weeks ago where they had mimosas in the morning. So when we went to Sam's Club after that, I was like, oh, should we have mimosas? Or do you think that, or is it too early for mimosas or something like that? She's like, we're a Catholic family. It's fine. Or something along the lines of, we're a Catholic family. That's what we do, or something like that. So I got the mimosas.
So she didn't object to buying you buying the champagne.
She didn't object to him buying the champagne, Miss Donna Orlando Chiquita. Thank you so much. 5 memberships, you guys. Thank you, Donna. Donna, I saw a video about a restaurant in Orlando that I want us to go to next time I come for a visit. I think it's called the Naughty Lobster. Anyway, thank you again. And again, I apologize for us having to watch this divorce or this separation. Now, CRD, you mentioned something pretty important here. It isn't really, I mean, it can be a part of your sort of, partying, I guess. Some families drink in the morning. I don't know. Oh, you never heard of it? I watched a YouTube video, duh. How else do I learn about things? And this guy ate two 2-foot long lobster rolls. Now, he's a competitive eater, but he was like literally moaning the whole time. Like, this is the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. And I was like, dude, okay, I get it. Okay, I want to go there. Like, oh my God. And the whole like comment section was funny because basically he walked in and they don't have any food challenges, but he was like, if I eat one of these, do you think that you guys would give it to me for free? And the lady was like, and he goes, wait, how about 2? She goes, I gotta go check with the chef. And she like goes to the back and comes back out. She goes, not only he says if you can eat 2 of them, he'll give them to you for free. He'll give you $500 if you can eat 2 of them. And the dude's like, okay, but I'm filming this. Like, I'm a professional eater. She's like, no, it's totally fine. And then literally he like orgasmed the entire time while eating it. And I was just like, oh my God, I need to go to this place and eat this food. Because a lot of the time when people eat food like that, they're just like dipping it in shit or whatever. He barely dipped it in anything. He was just like moaning the whole time. It was so yummy. My mouth is watering thinking about it, which I can't have. It wasn't Beard Meats Food. No, I love Beard Meats Food, but this was Joel Hansen. Beard Meats Food is one of my favorites. That's a Sunday tradition around here. He's in North Carolina. It's about 25 miles from you. That's pretty close in American standards. You guys should go check it out. But seriously, amazing. Look, from what he said, Justin Timberlake has a steakhouse in Nashville. I'd eat there. I'd go there on date night. And I think once a month date night, I could, well, it depends. It depends. I would like once a week date night, but you know how to. Yeah, couldn't we all? Couldn't we all? We have something here called the Keg Steakhouse, which is the sort of fancy place. Haven't been there in years.
No, it was in the same cart as everything else. There was no objection.
And
That's
did she
me.
object on the day of the breakfast to the making the mimosas?
No.
Did anyone in her family have mimosas?
Her brother-in-law had a mimosa, and I can't remember. I thought there was one more person, but I can't face it for certain, but I know her brother-in-law did.
And did anyone object to there being mimosas there?
Absolutely not.
You testified to when Ms. Paisno was questioning you about golf tournaments, that Meg let you do 3 golf tournaments a year.
Yep.
Were you required to get her permission to do golf tournaments?
Yes, and I had better give her 14 days in advance. She needed 14 days so that she could plan a plan to take care of the boys, which basically AKA meant make sure some of her family was available, that they could go do something. But yeah, she told me I needed to give her a 14-day heads up of golf tournaments.
And did she give you a 14-day notice if she wanted to go do something with her girlfriends?
No, I mean, she would give me a heads up if something was planned out, but there was some times where her friend would come over and just chat, and then she would ask, hey, can I go out to dinner with her, or do we all want to go? And that, those were obviously on the spot, and I'd always tell her that, yeah, go ahead, go.
Did you ever object to her doing those things?
I have never once told her that she cannot go do something with her friends ever.
Did you require?
Actually, I take that back. I apologize. There was one time where she went to a baby shower in the morning, and then she came home and was like, hey, Lindsay and Ashley want to go have a spa day in Kalamazoo. And I kind of laughed. I'm like, you've been gone all morning. I was like, well, let me go get some food and think about it, and I'll come back. And then I went and got some food, came back. I'm like, you know what? Go. It's fine. Go. And then by that time, she had already changed her mind, and then she decided not to go.
Did you ever require that she ask your permission before she did things with her friends?
No.
You literally just said that she came back and asked your permission, and you said, I'll think about it, and you went out and got food. How can you then say in your next breath that she never needed permission? Well, why would she have asked you then? That doesn't make any sense. Also, yes, it does look like Credence and Mikey have a premiere coming up. I will actually try and set this up to redirect to that after we're done, because I realize I have to do some editing on the other video. I can't play it yet. There's some shit I have to cut out. Also, Donna, how's the video? Is she on a tablet or is it like on a wall? Like, I just wondered if like they have their own tablets and they can call freely, or if it's like in a room.
Do you have any objection to the children being in a faith-based curriculum?
I don't have objections to a faith-based curriculum at this point, but I would like to see them in public school in the district that we live, yeah.
Do you object to Megan raising the children Catholic or taking them to Catholic church?
I don't object to that on her time, no.
Do you have any interest in attending the Catholic church?
For, when the time, or, when the certain occasions present itself that, that are major occasions, I would like to see them there, yes. But on a normal week-to-week basis, I would see that they be in Sunday school at the church in which I attend.
Do you think the kids can navigate going to Woodland and going to a Protestant church and with the different, whatever the differences are in those two faiths?
Yeah, I think they can manage that.
Did Meg ever ask to go away without the children overnight?
Yeah, she went to St. Joseph. They took my vehicle to St. Joseph. Lindsay, Ashley, Meg to St. Joe. They went to the beach, spent the night.
But I mean, other than that incident, did she ever complain that she couldn't go overnight without the kids?
She has never once complained that she couldn't do something.
You said that you would see your sister Brittany about a dozen times a month,
That's correct.
and your mom was the same.
That's correct.
Were you seeing your mom mainly when you were picking the children up after work?
That's correct.
And so were there sometimes that Meg was picking them up after work?
Very rarely.
The only thing, Carolyn, that I wonder about this, what you said here, because that's true, it's not asking for permission, but why is it permission when he's asking? And it wouldn't be, except for, again, the way that he phrased it when she, when he sort of seemed like he was holding off on her going, and then she changed her mind. It seems like she did indeed need his permission to go, just like he may have indeed needed her permission to go. Maybe it was implicit permission or like an implied okay, but it sounds like that was required both ways, as opposed to a real hey, I'm going to do this, letting you know, because, but again, you're a team. You got to take care of kids. I don't know.
So Meg would pick them up at my parents' if I was stuck over, which is incidents were far and few between.
So you said you'd see your mom about a dozen times. Is that accurate?
4, 8, 12. So, okay, I guess that wouldn't be accurate. I would see my mom every day picking up the boys. Predominantly, yeah, that is correct. 4, 8, yeah, bad math.
I have no further. Redirect.
Ms. Pace, now any recross?
Just a few, Your Honor. Mr. Smith, prior to October of 2023, what sports did you sign Asher up for?
Prior to October of 2023, what sports did I sign up Asher for? There was little opportunity. Asher was already at the youngest age for those sports, so I guess that answer would be none.
Okay. Did you ever coach Noah?
I did not, and I can go into explanation if you'd like me to.
No, thank you.
All right.
You just testified that you won't talk to Meg at the kids' activities, correct?
That's not what I testified to.
Yeah, I don't think he said that. He said they sat at a table and played cards together. He brought Samuel over. I don't think he said that he's not willing to talk to her. Yeah, I didn't get that actually, Leslie. Where'd you hear that?
Okay.
I won't talk.
And it's your testimony that you're trying to keep the children's life as normal as possible. That's correct?
I want them to feel as if their parents are as their friends' parent, like as normal as possible. I want the family dynamic to feel as normal as possible for them. Yes.
Since October, when did Meg not bring Sam to soccer? What date?
She only brought him to soccer one time before she pulled them out.
Prior to October of 2023?
Yeah. So the soccer league that Asher was signed up for, I believe it must have been fall soccer. Asher attended 3 practices. Sam was at one of them before Asher was pulled off the team completely.
Was that when he went into tennis?
That is not. There was no. She said that Asher is enjoying gym and has friends. That's why he can't be in any other activities.
And that was in fall of 2023.
Yes, around the time between August and September of 23 is when that soccer was. September, October, somewhere in that time frame.
No further questions.
Okay, thank you. Ms. McNiff, any additional witnesses?
No, we rest.
They rest. That's their case, ladies and gentlemen. That's it done. Whew. Finally. My God. I regret to inform everybody that there is indeed 5 hours left of this case. But we're not watching it today. No, indeed we're not. I have to eat. I have to make a video. I have to upload a finished video and figure out a few other things. So we have time to ponder tonight a little bit more of this case. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I have set this up to redirect to that premiere for Credence and Mikey. It is starting in 20 minutes, I think, like that. So yeah, it'll redirect us over there. And just make sure, even if you don't stay or you got something else going on, hit the like button. And you can leave comments on premieres before they are live. So take advantage of that fact and do that for me. What's up? Tomorrow is Wednesday. We'll have this, we'll have that. We have a bunch of different things. I'll have the dog George story tomorrow, or maybe even tonight. We'll see how good we do. Yeah. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe. I don't say that at the end very often, but whatever. Oh, also, everybody, thank you for making me extra hungry today, because now I have to go look through my empty fridge and try and create something delicious. Reminder, I love you. I'm proud of you. And I will see you in the next video. This video is going to redirect over to another premiere. Let's keep the party going. Bye. I said bye.